What's up guys, Josh from Xtreme Truck and Auto. Today we're going to be doing another rock light install. This time it's going to be on a 2021 GMC Sierra 1500. So you guys already know everything about kind of the kit, but they have changed a few things. So let's go through that real quick and then I will go ahead and get started on this install with you guys. So this is kind of what you're looking at now with the new rock light kits. It's the same harness, but they added a couple more extensions, and then instead of just getting one color with their newer rock light kits, you actually get 3 on the single color. Let me clarify that, it's the single color rock light kits. So you get the clear, which you can see on these over here, and then up in the truck, I'll try to remember to show you at the end of the video, is both red and orange as well. So that's pretty cool. Moving on to the install, what we got going on here is I already got one rock light in here, and I'm not sure if you can tell. One thing I really like about these diodes is they go ahead and have a way for you to mount this. You can do a bolt through the middle like I did on my Jeep, or as I've done on this one with kind of these fiber liners, you can punch 2 holes and actually use a zip tie, and that is not going anywhere. Plus, if that zip tie does break, you do have the wires back up. Now, I'm not saying it's the only thing you want to hold it on there with is the wire, because that's a terrible idea. I'm just saying if for whatever reason either of these fail, which they won't, you do have that wire holding your rock light kind of up tight and in position. That way, if it does fall down, you're not dragging it on a tire, wheel, something, so on and so forth. But if you follow me around to each one of these wheel well liners, you can see the little green marks, and that's where I'm going to be putting, or attempting to put, the center of all of my rock lights. And what I try to do is center them best I can with the liner. So whatever the liner gives me, do the best I can to center them, both widthwise and kind of over the axle, front to back, side to side. Get them as centered as I possibly can. So here's the rear. So there's that. As you can tell, I have already started. The way I did this was I basically loosened the front end of the liner, pulled it down away, punched 2 holes for each zip tie, and then a hole for the wiring to go through. I'm gonna get this done on the other side. I'll get you guys set up for some time lapse. When I get about halfway through, I'll stop the time lapse, bring you guys back in, and show you exactly what I am talking about on how I did all of this shenanigans. As you can see, I've got this liner pulled away. Now it does tuck up in here. It can be a little bit of a pain, but if you pull down on your flare, it'll make life a little bit easier on getting that tucked up in there. So what I'm gonna do is, if you can tell, I have a little ridge here and a little ridge here. I'm gonna poke a hole there, and then one up there, going that direction, and then I'll go straight in right there and right there. And that'll give me my zip tie points. And then when I get those settled, I'll figure out exactly where the cable hits, and then we'll drill that hole and run the wire through. All right, so as you can see, I got my rock light. So when that's all cinched up and the zip ties are tightened, you can see how that's gonna hold. There's my wire. The way we're gonna run this is we're gonna come down the back of this liner, and then we're gonna tuck through right somewhere in this area. So I'm good just to drape this over here, tuck my liner back up in, and obviously after I get this light secured. So that's what it looks like all installed. You can barely see the zip tie there. There's one on the other side. That thing's not going anywhere. So we got our wire hanging out, obviously, that we're gonna run to the front. Now, I've done a little bit of exploring on this. What I think I'm gonna do is something similar, come in through the side, come in through the bottom, and then drill my hole and mount the rock light in here. Probably just run the wire out through this portion here, so that way we can just go up into the engine cab or find a safe route up into there. We'll just need to be mindful of all the exhaust and all that hot stuff there, or anything sharp. So we get this side mounted, the other side mounted, and then we'll be on to the engine bay. All right, so as you can tell, we got her all mounted. Zip tie. What I did was I actually pulled right here, pulled everything down. I didn't have to undo any of this, which was nice. And then I got my wire run right out where I wanted it to. So I'm gonna go do the same thing to the passenger side, and then engine bay, here we come. So one thing I do want to make mention, and it's a bit of a complaint I have with their factory wiring harness for the single color, is you got your power and your ground right here, fine, everything's gonna run over there to the battery, but I have to get this into the cab and run over to the driver's side, and there is never ever enough wire to get into the cab on these Chevys, because you can see that boot all the way down in there. It is so hard to get to that under the cab. So what I typically do is there's a boot under the driver's side. I'll point it out to you guys that a parking brake cable runs through. You may have noticed it in, I believe, an amp step. So I may run it over to there, or if you look back in that corner, I'm not sure, let's see if we can get you over there to see it. Right down, right back in there, you can barely see it right there, is another boot. I may have better luck, and then what I'll do is run it inside the cab and then across the dash to where I need. So I don't know how I'm going to do that quite yet, but yeah, that's my one complaint, is I wish they had a little more switch wire, and I wish these came unpinned, because pulling this through a firewall or a boot is a giant pain in the butt. But if they came unpinned and allowed you to pin it, it would be a lot easier to pull these wires through the firewall. I'm gonna get all the wiring run across for the Rocklight wires on this side. We're gonna come across, and you'll see these little Christmas tree clips. I'm just gonna zip tie them to the bottom of that, all the way over to here to this harness, and then the other two we'll just pull up from underneath here and then through the wheel well up there. So I got a little bit of cleanup to do here, not much, but what we did was we ran down through to that little boot. There's a little thing that you can cut off. I don't know if you guys can see it down in there, which gives us access to up under the dash, up in this area. And then basically what I did was routed the wire all the way across to this other side. Let me run around real quick. To here, you can see where the wire goes up behind the dash. So what I'll do is kind of secure it up out of the way, but make it easy to get to. So if they ever need to pull this part of the dash apart, they're not fighting this switch. What you need to do if you want to install your switch in this location, some of the Chevys don't have switches here. This is a great location. All you need to do is pull this T15 and this T15 off, and then this whole switch panel pulls off. If you're wanting to do it down here, there's a 7mm here, and then once when you get this plate off, you can pull up on this, and then there's a 7mm right here, and then this whole part will just pull away and give you easy access. As for getting this side piece off, it is literally your fuse cover. It just snaps on and off, really simple to do. But let's go ahead and turn on the lights, and this is what you're looking at. You got really nice light output from the white. I can show you, actually I have my Jeep in here. You run over here, turn these on, and there you go. So with these kits, you remember how I had mentioned you get both white, amber, and red. If we run back around to the passenger side, you can see in here, Diode has started including other colors with their kits. I wish I would have waited, but I'm impatient. Totally fine with it. Diode, if you see this and you want to send me some covers, I'll take a set of the red ones. Just kidding around. That's it when it comes to the installation of the rock lights. Guys, if you want to see how I did it on my WJ, that's one of the videos I'll post whenever it pops up. Like always, thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch you on the next one.